Breaking news update. Here are the latest major headlines from America and around the world. First, tensions are rising in the Middle East. President Donald Trump says a U.S. Apache helicopter that crashed in the Middle East was shot down by Iran. He said the United States must respond to the attack. According to reports, the helicopter was patrolling near the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. Officials say 2 Army Apache pilots were rescued after the crash. The helicopter went down near the coast of Oman. U.S. Central Command says the pilots were rescued by a surface drone. In response, U.S. forces have launched what they call self-defense strikes against Iran. Officials say the strikes began at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The situation remains developing. Now to Washington. The House has passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill. The bill would fund immigration and customs enforcement. It would also fund customs and border protection. Supporters say the bill will strengthen border enforcement. Critics say it could increase pressure on immigrant communities. Now to technology news. OpenAI, the artificial intelligence company behind ChatGPT, has filed for an initial public offering. The move could help the company raise fresh funds. It also means OpenAI may face more scrutiny from investors and regulators. OpenAI was valued at around $852 billion after a funding round in March. Now to space news. NASA has announced the astronauts selected for the next Artemis mission. Artemis 3 is expected to launch the crew in the Orion spacecraft. The mission is planned for 2027. NASA says the crew includes 3 Americans and 1 Italian astronaut. The mission will be one of the next major steps in NASA's return to the moon. Now to California politics. Republican Steve Hilton is projected to advance to the general election in the California governor's race. He is expected to face Xavier Becerra in the general election. The race is expected to attract major national attention. In Maine politics, oyster farmer Graham Plattner is projected to win the Democratic Senate primary. ABC News projects Plattner as the winner. His campaign has faced growing controversy, but he is now projected to move forward. Now to Los Angeles. City Council member Nithya Raman is projected to advance to the mayoral runoff election. The Associated Press projects she will be the second candidate in the November runoff. The Los Angeles mayoral race is expected to be closely watched. Now to international news. A car bomb explosion in Moscow has killed 1 person. Russian authorities say the blast happened in Moscow's eastern suburbs. Investigators are still working to find out the full details. The victim has not yet been identified. Now to a missing person case in the Bahamas. The Coast Guard has ended its search for missing American woman Lynette Hooker. Officials say she went overboard and disappeared 2 months ago. A renewed search began after forensic evidence was found on electronic devices. Those devices reportedly belonged to her husband, Brian Hooker. Officials say that evidence led investigators to new areas of interest. Brian Hooker was arrested in April and questioned by police. He was later released without charges. The case remains under investigation. Now to court news. A Taliban commander involved in the kidnapping of American journalist David Rohde has been sentenced to 42 years in prison. Officials say he directly participated in the hostage-taking of Rohde and 2 others. The sentencing took place in New York. In another court case, Carmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder in Texas. The case involves the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet. Prosecutors called the stabbing senseless. The defense argued that Anthony acted in self-defense. The murder charge carries a possible sentence of up to life in prison. Now to another legal update. Nick Reiner says he needs money from his trust fund to help pay for his defense team. According to court filings, he wants to hire defense attorney Alan Jackson. The petition says Reiner believes he is entitled to funds from his trust. Reiner has been charged in connection with the deaths of his parents. His parents were director Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner. That story is still developing. Now to sports. The San Antonio Spurs have taken Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Spurs defeated the New York Knicks with a final score of 115-111. It was a close game until the final moments. The win gives San Antonio a major boost in the series. These are the biggest headlines right now. Stay tuned for more updates. Follow for daily breaking news. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe for more news updates.